There is never a dull moment with silver these days, and what happened while most of us were asleep is clear evidence of that. I'll explain in this video as we explore. Yeah, the markets got rocked again as overnight silver's prices reached up over $53.50. Amazing. Well, what happened since then is quite remarkable and very interesting. And could it be explained? Well, we're going to try to explain what happened last night. Well, actually early this morning while most of us were asleep. It's pretty remarkable. But before we get there, I want to remind you of channel sponsor Summit Metals. Experience their great customer service and fast shipping by checking them out and clicking on the link in the description below. So silver, indeed, we're seeing it being really performing quite well, beating all nominal highs. Obviously, they're not to all-time highs when adjusted for inflation, especially when you take into account 1980s prices. It would be far north of $200 if that were the case, but it's doing fairly well. Although, as I record this video, it is actually down 75 cents. But a lot of that is attributed to what I'm going to be talking about in a moment. But let me go through all the metals and what happened today. All of them are up, with gold up $33.30, a 0.81% increase to $4,144.80. Silver down 75 cents, topping out at $53.56. Now down to $51.64. That's still a very good, strong number. Platinum is up $9 to $1,648. Palladium is on fire today. It's up 2.67%, up $39 to $1,538. And rhodium even went up $50 to $7,600. But silver is the metal we're watching here today. And stay tuned because I'm going to explain what this is later in the video and also some of my latest silver purchases and what I'm going to be doing with that in the background there. So a member of the community posted something here. Sherry says, look at the charts. Somehow silver dropped from $53.51 without trades or volumes. And that gap shows in the metals daily that you can see the volume. Looks like someone literally went in and just changed the price. The very funny things are happening right now, and it reeks of desperation. And that very well could be the case. I looked into it, and she's right. It was a massive drop at around 3 a.m., and it appeared to be like there was no volume of trading that had occurred. It just dropped. A dramatic drop in price. Looks very suspicious for sure. So I did some more digging around to see what is behind some of this, and it did look like there was a suspension of trading by the SLV. But what happened yesterday is very telling and interesting. As these shares were falling, the borrowing rates have gone up like crazy. But there was some post over on X platform that we see occurring that SLV has added 11 million new shares yesterday in the past day or two. That's massive, and also means that they added 311 metric tons of physical silver to their trust, which is 10 million ounces. Will probably lead to available SLV shares for borrowing and falling fees. And I think anticipation of kind of what that means, the price just dropped, but you would think you would see some volume associated with it. So that is a little bit suspicious and strange. But from 5 hours ago, there is no sign of those shares available for borrowing yet, despite SLV adding 11 million new shares yesterday. And it settles at the end of the day, so we'll see what happens at the end of this day and what's going to happen with the price as the markets open again yet tomorrow in Asia. The 11 million shares equals 311 metric tons, and so that means that there will be adding more silver where there's none available. There has been none available for a while now here, so it's very interesting indeed. The bullion bank stopped leasing physical silver to each other at reasonable rates for cold turkey. They stopped that, according to Eric Young. Over on X, JPM pretty much stopped the lending of shares to redeem for physical silver, and that the entire paper physical system has been seized, essentially. And so that's very interesting. Now, this is temporary, but and then the latest thing we've got it from the Happy Hawaiian is backwardation from spot to futures has been cut in half, but it's still there. SLV borrowing fee down, but still very high. You can tell some pressure got relieved as we rose to 52.53, but not enough to fix the problem. So that's what we're seeing right now occur, and it's pretty interesting and fascinating what's going on in the market. No volume, and then as the day has gone up, passed through, volume increased fairly dramatically, and on the open of the New York markets, volume increased dramatically, and the price rose to near $52 an ounce. And really, it's held pretty steady, but in late trading today, there was another attempt of a smackdown, a very high volume, a spike in volume that caused the price to fall a little bit. And it's now kind of recovered somewhat now to where we're at now, down about 76 cents. What does that tell us, folks? That tells us that silver is resilient right now in these markets and moves, as we're still in moments of stress, great stress in the silver market. Physical supplies, the LBMA, under a lot of pressure there. So that's what we're following here. And I'm telling you, if we start to see more moves like this, even announcements of more silver trading into the SLV, which is the largest ETF from the biggest bank in the nation, if not the world, JP Morgan, I think that means that we're going to probably likely see continued moves down, smackdowns. It worked. It worked this morning around 3 a.m., and that could be a manipulative force in play. But remember, silver's still holding steady, and they can only do that so much. If that was a trick, well, it was a trick that was short-lived, for sure, because silver has recovered a lot of its losses here. It did fall to a low today, by the way, of $50.41, measured in these fiat units here, known as the dollar, which is lost, continuing to lose value because of inflation. But of course, inflation is not the reason why the silver prices are moving the way they're moving right now. People need to understand that. Inflation really is the last thing you should be thinking about as to why the prices of silver have gone up. There's massive disruptions in the silver market. And that's what's causing it. And sooner or later, it's going to normalize. What that normalization is going to look like, well, something I may talk about in another video. But that move this morning was quite intriguing and eye-opening, looking at what's happening in the trade of volume. And I want to thank Sherry for letting me know that, somebody who's commented on that, made that notice. And there's a lot going on. There's so many different intricacies and aspects of the silver market that we're not quite, that it can be easily be missed. But an executive at JP Morgan, Robert Gottlieb, put it that there's basically no free-floating silver left. That declaration, coming from one of the most powerful insiders, has electrified the metals market. And this article from the Jerusalem Post was posted, pretty much right as that injection of more silver hit into the markets. The lease rates, interest paid to borrow physical silver for delivery, have rocketed by 20 to 30%, far outpacing those of platinum. It's a rare signal of scarcity in an otherwise abundant market. A recent analysis explores that how London shortage is just a preview of what may come when the paper silver system begins to unravel. And I think that's a testimony to the video I posted earlier today about what Bank of America thinks silver is going to do in 2026. Quite shocking indeed. Check that video out. I'll try to remember to link to it at the end screen of this one. Both gold and silver recently smashed through critical psychological levels, piercing the $4,000 mark for gold and $50 for silver. And every day that silver stays above $50 an ounce is quite telling. We've not been here before, folks, and we're holding above that $50 for much longer than the near $50 that we saw in the previous two times that has occurred. So this is not going to be resolved as quickly as some may think. On the paper side, the iShares Silver Trust is now seeing borrowing fees near 12%, with no shares left ashort until they come available again after being injected, as I just reported. For those betting on a downward price movement, the pain is intensifying. They're forced to pay steep borrowing fees while also incurring losses as the prices climb. They don't want that to happen. It operates from both sides, this squeeze does. Rising prices erode short positions, while lack of availability and soaring borrowing costs tighten the noose. And so that's something that we're looking at and seeing what's happening. No free floating silver is no idle rhetoric, according to Gotleib. It reflects the reality that virtually all deliverable silver, the metal that could be transferred or leased, is tied up in ETFs, industrial contracts, and other long-term commitments. Little remains unencumbered. So there you go. Now, with that being said, I'm still holding on to silver, not selling, not buying quite as much, but I did buy some recently. This piece I bought some time ago. Now it's under spot price as I got it from Intalio Mint. A very, very cool Charlie Kirk piece, probably triggering to some of you, but don't worry, it's okay. It's not going to bite you. It's not going to hurt you. And this is a limited edition piece, 26 out of 500. And pleased to be able to add that to the collection and stack. And then also bought some more constitutional silver. Another dime bag from a local coin shop today of high-quality dimes. And I'm going to attempt to fill this tube with them. And I'm going to put these here inside of it along with my other ones that I had done from previously. So let's pull those out and put them in the tube together just for grins. Here we go. Nice uncirculated mercury or winged liberty dimes is a technical term from it. There you go. And I'm going to add the others from the other day when I replenished the silver that I gave away. And only 2 of those dimes were the uncirculated variety. 3 of them. So that gives me a few more to add to the tube here. Kind of always wanted a full tube of uncirculated winged liberty dimes. So that's what that is. So there you have it. In a last little passing note, I also got this Metallio. Pretty cool. High relief $1804. Pretty cool. So there you go. All right, there you go. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below. Hope you found this video informative, insightful, and educational. Would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.